At the Fox 5 Amplified table, you'll recognize Joe Vigil and probably Eric as well because you've been on this a few times now, photojournalist here at Fox 5. And Joe Vigil, of course, anchor reporter. So we are talking about this story that you guys did recently. If you are in the market for a fire truck and you're a fire department across the United States and you want to buy, a U.S.-built fire truck, it could take months, if not years, just because there's like a waiting list, right? And that's to get a brand new one, yeah. So there's a company here in the valley that said, "Hey, well, we can." They're probably already up working on refurbishing trucks, but we can turn it around a lot quicker to you and a lot less money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically their whole plan is to refurbish fire trucks, and they just basically tear them down to scratch. And
yeah, because we're talking over $1 million for a new one, and some of these, I mean, $500,000 still seems like a lot of money, but if it's half the cost of a new one, and they operate just like a new one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the new brakes, new suspension, new transmission, new engine. I mean, this is a brand new, like, most of the internal parts. And they do that again because of the cost factors. As we said, it could be up to 5 years to get a new truck and well over $1 million. And these are good for like this is great for like a rural fire department when they don't have the gigantic budgets of other places, and they can get them out on the road and get their service back up and running. But it was interesting though, wasn't it? Seeing what they did.
Yes, that the two facts that you brought up right there.
Yeah.
That they service the rural industry and fire department, and those people are not able to get their vehicles because they don't have the budget for it. And so I want to say that most of the vehicles that we saw there during the day that we were there, more than half of them were from those smaller communities. And they stripped them down entirely and then built them from the ground up. And so it's not just swap a part out here and there.
And one of the things they said was that if you are one of those smaller departments that really can't afford to be down apparatus for any period of time, that they'll loan you one, right, while they're working on yours or something, or rent you one. Yeah.
Yeah, rented trucks and they sold them. Do you remember the lot that we're in?
They had a lot in the back where they had some trucks.
Because some of the trucks go far away. I mean, they go out of this country.
Can sell them to a community
local departments are done with them. I know even in
today.
North Las Vegas, they've got some trucks that have gone out of the country when they're done with them because they get the newest, greatest thing. I would imagine when you're going to shoot a story like this, because they are taking a fire truck all the way down to sort of the bones and putting it back together, you got to be thinking about, oh, wow, there's going to be a lot of opportunities here for natural sound. That's what we call when, if somebody's working with something and they're hearing the saw or whatever, there's got to be a lot of visual options here. Cornucopia.
Yeah. It was a cornucopia of visual
it was
opportunities.
Good way to put it.
Like with the way that they were stripping everything down, taking the bolts off, putting the wires and engines in, and then repainting it, and even putting the striping on and adding the decals and things like that, which was also, I would say for me, one of the more interesting things that I had never considered is that the fact that they, at that shop, they put the decals on also, and half the time they have to create the decal.
Yeah, occasionally you'll see like a truck full of like
computer program,
Ford
and then
Explorers or whatever coming from the factory, the police interceptor
the
vehicles that they use, and they'll already be marked for whatever police station they're going to. I found that interesting too. I thought that was all done once they got on the other end, but no, sometimes they can do them right off the factory, or in this case, when they're rebuilding them.
Yeah. Yes, it was one of those things that the surprising thing in its entirety is that this was in the backyard of Henderson, and it's been there for years.
19 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can drive past this thing every day and not really notice that it's there. It's like, oh, there's a fire truck.
And one of the other
front,
things
but
I
then you don't
talked
really
to
think
one of
anything
the
of it.
people
And
there,
these guys have been
we just talked
servicing these
about the
trucks
big
for
savings
a
of money,
long
but
time.
that means it saves taxpayers money also.
Someone is waiting for a truck, they can actually rent a truck while they're waiting.
So we just did
Well, that's one of their big things is that they can save, hundreds of thousands of dollars for communities, governments that don't have it. And, you're right too. I mean, so many places they have delivered to, and millions of dollars basically in savings. I mean, it could be a couple $1 million in just a few vehicles, and that's the point that they wanted to make too, is that, we're here to basically get, to have the service, the emergency service that you need, but for so much less than, you have to pay brand new. And this all kind of came about because of our national investigative team with Gray, had been doing stories about some of these older vehicles on the road that were in some cases breaking down, and then trying to get a new vehicle. I mean, 3, 4, 5 years for a new vehicle. I mean, that's a long, long time to wait. And again, the $1 million+ cost, and then now you have a local company that's really working hard to try
Everywhere
to
they're
deal with
working
that.
on
But
vehicles.
we saw the map. Remember when we came in, and
Yep.
they had a map of basically the world and all over. I mean, Philippines, I think Africa we saw.
Well, they in that yard there were vehicles. I think it was Brazil, or was it Argentina, that they
one
were
of the two.
working on. And then the other surprising thing is that they would get a number of vehicles from.
Are they
the
working on any
military.
local departments, or
Armed
it
forces.
just
So while we
happens
were
they're
there,
not?
there were a couple of Navy vehicles
Yep.
that were being worked on.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. We looked at the one yellow one that was a Clark County vehicle, a 20-year-old vehicle, and they were redoing it, and they were going to use it for the hazmat team, is what they were looking to do it with.
And there was 1 or 2 ambulance that were being worked on also, and those were, I think, Las Vegas Fire, and not Clark County, but
Yeah,
Fox,
exactly
right,
right.
yeah.
Well, what they would do with the ambulance, they called them, I believe, ambulance remount. So they basically take the cab, off the back of the ambulance and put it on a new vehicle. And this is a brand new vehicle. It's not like a used vehicle. It's a brand new vehicle they put it on top of. And I think they even said that they bought the vehicles locally, brand new. So they just, because the boxes, I mean, there are not a lot of moving parts.
And you said you came about the
engine
story because
transmission and so
National was
forth.
working
So they just pop
on
them off,
the
and then they
fact
put them
that
on
it
a
could
new
take a
vehicle,
long
and there
time to
you go.
get
You
a
got
How did you find this local spot? Because like you mentioned, it's a place you drive by, you maybe see the fire truck and don't think much about it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody told me actually. It was like when the initial story ran, or we've done a couple with them. Somebody saw it and say, "Hey, I know about this Henderson company," and I'm like, "Oh, tell me more." And he started explaining, and I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty amazing." And so we just went over there and looked at it, and it was kind of wild because you go in there and it looks like a big shop, except big fire trucks. And, and they got parts all over, and they got guys working. And and there were different areas that we would go to. The first one was the inside, and then we went outside. I know they were working on that ladder truck. I know they had a truck from Steamboat Springs in there that was just about ready to be to And then,
And I think it's
remember, we
also
walked
important too
across the
because
street and
we
saw
talk
the
so much
paint
about the Las
area.
Vegas
The paint
economy
room and
being
the-
so
where
based
they
on
finish the vehicles
tourism
off.
and the Strip and casinos, but there are all these other companies around here doing a lot of different things, and we're trying to get more and more every day that are doing stuff that are really affecting the world, which is interesting to hear.
And we were kind of wondering if they needed to expand because right now they have 60 projects in the works at the time. That's what they
Yeah.
told us.
So even
And
they have a
But here's
wait.
the thing. I mean, so they're so popular. I mean, they have a wait right now. I mean, it's a year just to get in,
Yeah.
and then a year.
And they probably,
to do
like
big
everything else, I'm
vehicle.
sure there's a
So
shortage
that's
of
2
people,
years, but still that's
qualified
better
people
than
to
3,
work
4,
on them.
5
So that's
years,
probably why they
you
can't
know?
maybe move any faster than they already are. The business is there.
Yeah, they've got good teams in there. I think they started with just a handful of people way back when, and then they told me they have 67
Oh,
people,
okay.
and they work in teams.
Yeah.
So it's like one team will work on a truck, and they'll pretty much stay with that vehicle for a lot of the repairs.
Yeah.
Then, but it goes to different areas for different things. Is what happens. But these are specialized people who know what they're doing with these kind of vehicles, and
Okay.
have been in it for a long time. In fact, one of the gentlemen we talked to worked for Clark County Fire for many years, so he has that experience. He knows the deal with fire trucks, the weights, the costs.
All
and
right.
so
Well, you can
forth.
watch the
So,
stories
it was
on
really interesting to kinda see all
fox5vegas.com,
of this
Fox
come
5 Vegas
together
Plus,
really
and
hear
see
about
how
it.
these trucks come together from beginning to end. Thanks to Eric and Joe for being here. We'll see you next time.